The Pokrovsk area was once again rumbling, not with the roar of heavy war machines, but with the precision thuds of Ukrainian drones operating relentlessly in the gloomy skies. This region, which for weeks had been a tug-of-war between Ukrainian forces and Russian strike groups, witnessed another clash that demonstrated the utter superiority of Kyiv's unmanned systems. In the early hours of the morning, Ukrainian drone operators detected the movement of a small convoy of Russian motorcycles moving quickly from the east, presumably carrying ammunition and supplies for troops trying to hold the front lines. They relied on the agility of motorcycles as a method of rapid, tactical, and difficult-to-detect mobilization. But this time, the tactic proved unsuccessful. In footage obtained from the air unit, one of the reconnaissance drones clearly observed a dusty dirt track littered with tire marks. 4 Russian motorcycle riders were seen riding in close formation, attempting to use their speed to evade ambush. But within seconds, Ukrainian drones swooped low, chose the right time, and struck them in rapid succession, cutting off the enemy's vital supply line. Shortly afterward, a vehicle suspected of carrying ammunition boxes attempted to break out of the danger zone. The drone operator, remaining calm despite the urgency of the situation, delivered a precise strike that instantly disabled the vehicle before it reached the front lines. Before the drone operator could catch his breath, the next target appeared. Battlefield footage shows the most dramatic scene unfolding when a Russian pickup truck entered the operational area with 2 personnel in the front. A motorcycle was clearly visible in the back, an indication that they were moving equipment for the next wave of attacks. The Ukrainian drone again engaged in aggressive maneuvers, pursuing the vehicle with precision that left no room for escape. A devastating strike halting their efforts instantly. At the same time, a few hundred meters away, another group of Russian motorcycles attempting to advance was also under drone surveillance. As soon as they entered the firing zone, a surprise attack shattered their formation and completely thwarted the enemy's logistical plans. This aerial operation, captured in the footage, conveys one clear message. Every enemy convoy in Pokrovsk now faces a constant threat from the skies. With a combination of real-time intelligence and precision strikes, the Ukrainian drone unit has once again demonstrated that no enemy movement can escape. While from the Lyman direction, the innovation by the 3rd Army Corps demonstrates how Ukraine is leveraging automated systems to compensate for manpower shortages against Russian infiltration tactics. Here, the Russian command sends small infantry groups to try to penetrate the Ukrainian defense from the rear. But the Ukrainian 3rd Army Corps answered them with the next step in its drone innovations. For the first time, a ground kamikaze drone was sent to hunt the hunters and eliminate the enemies while they were attacking. For 2 months now, the Russians have been trying and failing to break through the Ukrainian defenses in front of Novoselivka. If they manage to enter the settlement, they could create a foothold to threaten Izium from the east and Lyman from the north. Despite establishing a bridgehead over the Zhetebets River, Russian reinforcements still cross it under catastrophic losses. They cannot bring armored vehicles across, so they send in infantry only, with tiny assault groups of 3 to 5 men slipping through forests and trenches, searching for gaps in the Ukrainian line. One Ukrainian video from the vicinity of Novoselivka shows how these infiltration attempts often end. After spotting a small Russian group that managed to sneak toward the Ukrainian rear, a recon team moved in using an armored vehicle. While listening to a captured Russian radio, the Ukrainians overheard the enemy commander warning his soldiers they had been detected. Realizing contact was imminent, the Ukrainian troops dismounted under turret cover and began clearing the tree line. In a short and brutal engagement, 4 Russian soldiers were eliminated, and rifles, grenades, and communications gear were seized. This constant cat-and-mouse struggle is typical of the direction, but Ukraine has begun deploying a new weapon that is reshaping the battlefield. The Ukrainian Third Army Corps, famous for battlefield innovation, is now fielding ground kamikaze drones for limited assaults. After a Russian infiltrator group was detected near Novoselivka, drone footage shows a small, remote-controlled Ukrainian ground robot creeping through grass and branches, silently approaching the unsuspecting soldiers. One Russian heard something and turned toward the sound, but it was too late. The robot surged forward and detonated, killing one, wounding another, and sending the third scrambling for cover, only for a Ukrainian FPV drone to finish him off. The operator later explained this was the first combat use of the ground kamikaze system to attack the attackers, which until now had been used primarily for logistics and medical evacuation. Another video from the same area shows a ground drone being sent to eliminate a Russian firing point. Thanks to its extremely narrow profile, the machine slipped through barbed wire and debris, reaching the dugout undetected. It detonated inside the structure, collapsing the firing position and killing the Russians within. Control! These attacks demonstrate that while the Russians rely heavily on infantry infiltrations, Ukrainian forces increasingly use automated systems to track, fix, and destroy enemy troops with minimal risk to their own soldiers. As you may remember from a previous report, Ukraine has already executed a pure drone multi-phase assault in the Lyman direction, combining aerial surveillance and FPV drones with unmanned ground vehicles loaded with explosives to clear enemy dugouts. The latest development marks a clear trend as ground drones start to become an essential part of Ukrainian frontline operations. They can carry ammunition, food, medical gear, and even evacuate wounded soldiers, and are now used for direct assaults. Though slower and more expensive than aerial drones, they are far more resistant to jamming. Aerial drones crash when the signal is lost, while ground drones stop and wait until communications return. Their use is growing because they close the personnel gap by doing the most dangerous work when manpower is limited. Overall, the Russian command wants to reach the northern outskirts of Lyman at any cost, putting enormous pressure on the Ukrainian defenders, who remain outnumbered across the entire sector. That is why the Third Army Corps invests so heavily in drone warfare, with ground drones to clear trenches being the latest development, as technologies compensate for troop shortages and allow Ukraine to hold the line even against